Welcome to Brewers Daily. I'm your host, Dave Gasper. Lots to get to on the show here today. We actually had some Brewers news that came out here beginning of the week. And we got an update on the injured Brewers prospect that we talked about on yesterday's show. Frank Kyone got an update there to share also. But where we're going to start is, again, the big story of the offseason, Freddy Peralta, the trade rumors surrounding him. Where things are headed there, because now that we are into the new year, everyone's getting back from the holidays, back to work, things are starting to pick up, and that's exactly what the report was today out of The Athletic, that the Freddy Peralta trade market is about to pick back up again. And this is something that, it's kind of to be expected, over the holidays, Christmas to New Year's, not quite as much going on. But The Athletic, Ken Rosenthal, Will Salmon, who have been on top of everything this offseason, they put this out there in their MLB offseason latest today, that the Freddy Peralta talks are about to resume in earnest. And we actually got some new teams named that are interested in Freddy Peralta. So both New York clubs, we already knew those guys. The Boston Red Sox, we knew them. But also listed as a team with interest in Freddy Peralta, the Los Angeles Dodgers. Yes, I know. But the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Atlanta Braves are a team that is involved in Freddy Peralta's market as well. Now, previously, during the winter meetings, we saw the New York teams, Boston, San Francisco, Baltimore, Houston. Those teams got named as ones in the market for Freddy Peralta. Now we are also getting the Dodgers and the Braves in there as well. Again, this is expected to be a wide market for Freddy. He's only making $8 million this next season. He's an absolute stud, and anyone can afford him. Anyone can afford to bring him in on salary, especially the Dodgers. But I mean, what business do they have getting a bargain player like that? I mean, come on, guys. I don't envision the Brewers actually sending Freddy Peralta to the Dodgers, but they're involved. And like it or not, the Dodgers do have talent. Some really good, talented young starting pitchers as well that they're probably not going to have room for in their starting rotation, because they keep feeling like, oh no, we got to pick up Freddy Peralta. We've only spent $1 billion on pitching. Let's just go get another starter and forget all the rest of these guys. So that's just someone to keep an eye on as well. They do have talent that could certainly intrigue the Milwaukee Brewers. And again, it is going to take players that are big league ready, players that can help out the Milwaukee Brewers in 2026 if you're going to convince Milwaukee to give up Freddy Peralta. It's just reality. That's what it's going to take. The Brewers haven't publicly said exactly what it is, but they've got a pretty high price out for him. And based on their history, how they trade these guys, it's like, oh yes, you look at their history and they trade guys when they get about a year left of team control. But also look at what they get back. It is players who can help them out in the immediate future. It's not just prospects. It's getting guys that can help you out right now. So that is going to be an area to look at. The Dodgers certainly have players like that. The Braves have some players like that as well, because they got a lot of their players signed to long-term extensions. So any prospects coming up, they're kind of blocked a little bit. So the Braves could be a team to really watch here as well. They are now involved in the Peralta market. And again, New York Yankees, New York Mets. I do think the Mets have some pretty good talent that they could deal to the Brewers that could convince them. We'll see if David Stearns wants to be that aggressive. The Orioles, we're also in there. They're still looking for some starting pitching help. So lots of teams to watch here. And now that we are past the holidays, things are about to really heat up here in the Freddy Peralta trade market. So that's kind of the big news there on the potential transactions front. Nothing really on what the Brewers, could be looking to add, free agency or otherwise. It really seems to be centering around what happens with Freddy Peralta. So we're going to keep our eyes on that. But we also got some actual news, some actual things that came across the finish line here. And now, of course, so, I put up, Monday's video, Monday's Brewers Daily. And I mentioned how we haven't heard anything about the coaching staff yet. Very odd how that hasn't been announced. And then like an hour after the video posts is when the Brewers drop the news. Oh yeah, hey, this is what we're doing with the coaching staff. Great. Love the timing. So we're getting to it today, though. We're getting to it on today's Brewers Daily. So the Brewers made several changes to their coaching staff for this next season that are really quite fascinating. So just looking at it, obviously we know Connor Dawson, he left for Kansas City. Ricky Weeks is moving into the front office. Some other guys that are moving, that are being reassigned. Al LaBeouf, the lead hitting coach from this past season, who's been a long time member of the Brewers organization, he is being reassigned elsewhere in the organization. He is no longer going to be on the coaching staff, on the Major League coaching staff next year. And also Julio Bourbon, who was the first base coach, also being reassigned within the organization. And he spent one season as the first base coach last year, and stolen bases plummeted for the Brewers. And so I think that's a spot that they are going to want to change. They're going to want to get more stolen bases with this group. So they lost Quentin Berry. He went to the Chicago Cubs. They brought in Bourbon, and stolen bases kind of went downhill here. So those are some of the change. Those are some of the guys moving out. Now, kind of the shuffle around here. Jason Lane, who is the third base coach and has been for the last couple of years, he is being taken off third base, and he is going to be the offense and strategy coordinator. So he's picking up some of the slack of Ricky Weeks when he moved himself to the front office. So Jason Lane is picking up the offense and strategy stuff. So he is no longer going to be having third base duties. Those now fall to Matt Erickson, Wisconsin native, former Wisconsin Timber Rattlers manager, very fantastic coach. Matt Erickson now going to be the third base coach for the Milwaukee Brewers, on top of being the infield coordinator as well. He's still going to handle infield instruction for these guys, but he's also going to be manning third base for the Milwaukee Brewers. He's going to be making the send decisions or the stop decisions. So that's what he's going to be doing on the base paths. And then also at first base, replacing Julio Bourbon, is Spencer Allen. You probably don't know who Spencer Allen is. He was a former head coach at Northwestern in the Big Ten, so former college head coach. And he spent the last 4 years in the Brewers organization, the last 2 of which as the Brewers Director of Player Development. And player development has gone pretty well for the Brewers the last 2 years. So Spencer Allen gets himself a nice little bump here, and now he joins the Major League coaching staff. Jim Henderson gets himself a bit of a promotion to pitching coordinator. Chris Hook is still your pitching coach, your lead pitching coach. But Jim Henderson, who's been the assistant pitching coach, he now moves up to pitching coordinator. The way they massage these titles is amazing. I'm assuming Henderson gets a bit of a raise. The Brewers are not going to confirm that or deny that. They're not going to say anything about salary details, but he's getting a promotion in title here. So I imagine they're trying to keep him around because Jim Henderson's a really good pitching coach. And there's probably a lot of other teams that want him. So in order to keep him around, you give him a little bit of a promotion in title, a little bit of a bump in pay, and he ends up sticking around with Chris Hook, and they've done a fantastic job with the pitching staff. And then also now we get a new assistant pitching coach joining the staff, Juan Sandoval. Now this has been rumored for the past couple of weeks that he's been hired to the big league staff, and now it gets fully confirmed. Juan Sandoval, the new assistant pitching coach, underneath Chris Hook and Jim Henderson. So now you got 3 pitching coaches on top of 3 hitting coaches. Remember when it was just 1 pitching coach, 1 hitting coach? That was way back when. That's old school now. Now you got 3 of each. Eric Tyson is taking over as the lead hitting coach, and I think this is an absolutely fantastic move. I love this. Tyson has been a quick riser in the coaching ranks, earned a lot of respect, very highly touted name in the coaching world, in coaching circles. And Tyson spent last year as one of the assistant hitting coaches on the big league staff, and now with Al LaBeouf moving around, Eric Tyson now takes over as the lead hitting coach for the Milwaukee Brewers. I love that move right there. I think that's going to be fantastic. And it keeps some consistency from last year because Dawson left, Al LaBeouf now out, Eric Tyson the only returning hitting coach from last year of the 3 that they had. So that means you got 2 new hitting coaches coming in as assistants there, and one of them, Guillermo Martinez, fantastic, awesome, great to get him in. Guillermo Martinez is someone. He's 41. Spent last season as a hitting coach for AA Knoxville in the Chicago Cubs system. Worked in the Blue Jays system before that as a minor league hitting coordinator. and major league hitting coach as well. So he's been a hitting coach for a while and bearing the lead here. But the other assistant hitting coach, Daniel Vogelbach, yes, Danny Burgers. Daniel Vogelbach is back in the Brewers organization, and he is now an assistant hitting coach for the staff. He was a special assistant for hitting last year with the Pittsburgh Pirates after retiring as a player. So he's now gone into the coaching ranks, and now he comes back to Milwaukee. And that's just absolutely fantastic. It's going to be great to see him back in a Brewers uniform and helping out with this staff. I mean, he's one of the more fun players that this team has had the last couple of years. He just looks like a Milwaukee Brewer. I mean, he was fantastic. Had a good run there as the Brewers' first baseman. So he joins the coaching staff here. Quite a notable former player coming in. You'll love to see it. So that's that's a big move there. So you got the turnover in the hitting coach department, and then a lot of other things remain the same. Charlie Green remaining as the bullpen coach. Pat Murphy still managing. Chris Hook, Nestor Corridor is the field coordinator. Bullpen catchers, Christian Correa is back, and you got a new bullpen catcher, Ty Duvall, now joining the bullpen out there. But yeah, really, I mean, the priority or the primary thing there are the changes to the hitting coaches and pitching coaches as well, bringing in Juan Sandoval. Spent the last couple of years, with the Brewers in the minor leagues as a pitching coach and pitching coach in the Dominican Republic. So he's been around the league. He's been around baseball. So great to see him come in here as well. So some big changes for Pat Murphy going into his third season as the Brewers manager with his assistant coaches, and the way these coaching staffs have expanded, it's truly incredible. And Daniel Vogelbach coming back, I mean that just takes the cake for me. And Christian Yelich, who played with Vogelbach, back during his playing days, he was loving it as well. I mean he even took to Twitter about it, and he tweeted out, "Welcome home, Vogie," with the cheese emoji as well, bringing him back. I mean, it was fantastic to see. I mean, this has been in the works for a while here, and obviously, Vogie has a ton of respect in that clubhouse and that dugout. Now, when Vogie was here, there's only a handful of players that remain. Yelich is one of them. Freddy Peralta, Brandon Woodruff, or of course, others. There's been a lot of turnover with that young group from when Vogelbach was here a couple of years ago. So being able to bring him back, when he's still so close to his playing days. I mean, he just retired at the end of 2024. I mean, he was still playing in 2024. So 2 years ago, he was out there. Just spent 1 year as a coach. So now that he's in his playing or just recently removed from his playing days, it's going to help him relate to these young hitters that the Brewers have, and being able to help them adapt here to the major league level, because he's faced a lot of these pitchers that they're facing. He has had to deal with the information, the data that they're learning and being handed. So he's going to be able to help them quite a bit in that department. So very excited to see how that ends up working out with Danny Vogelbach as a assistant hitting coach for the Milwaukee Brewers. So excited for that. And then also just to kind of provide another update here, because I said we would, mentioned on Monday's show about Frank Kyone, the Brewers' left-handed pitching prospect who was involved in a car accident in New Jersey and has been hospitalized. We have gotten more updates on that. And just kind of wanted to pass those along. So Brewer Fanatic has his fan forum, and they had someone on there who talked to someone very close to Frank Kyone, and got the blessing of the family to report kind of some more details on Kyone and the issue at hand. So just to kind of set the record straight on some things that have been out there. So apparently Kyone and a passenger were hit head-on by a vehicle that ran a stop sign, which is a very dangerous type of accident. and some significant injuries for Kyone. They had bleeding on the brain, which has been stopped, which is good. They're just kind of waiting for the swelling to go down right now, keeping Kyone on medicine, decreasing it every day until he wakes up, so he's not as confused. So the doctor said they're very optimistic that he's going to have a full recovery. It's just going to take some time. He's already ahead of the game, breathing on his own, moving around a lot, starting to open his eyes a little bit. So that's kind of the update that we got. So very very scary injury when we talk about bleeding on the brain and having these issues, just trying to be able to move and just trying to be awake. Very scary for Frank Kyone. So it could be a somewhat longer road to recovery here. Getting hit head on. I mean, that's very very tough accident to face. So praying for him, praying that he gets better. But the Brewers say that he's progressing positively from what they've heard. So he's continuing to get better, and that's great to see. It really is. It's a very scary situation for him and his family. So for him to be progressing and getting better, that's fantastic. So in terms of seeing him on the mound, a timeline for that is totally up in the air. I think it's safe to say that's going to be delayed to start the year. But yeah, the fact that he's progressing positively and they've stopped the bleeding on the brain, that is a very, very good sign that he's going to be able to make a full recovery. So excited for that, praying for that, that he ends up getting better. And it's a very scary ordeal. And hopefully he ends up getting better. So on that note, we're going to end it here for Brewers Daily. So some big changes to the coaching staff. Excited to see them. Freddy Peralta, those rumors are going to start heating back up again. We hadn't heard anything in a couple of weeks. Now that we're past the holidays, things are going to be heating back up. And as we get closer to spring training, teams are going to get more desperate to get something across the finish line. So they may pony up finally and pay the price in order to get them. We'll keep you posted as we do every single day on Brewers Daily. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, get notified every single time a new episode drops. Follow me on Twitter at dgasper24 so you can get all the latest updates there as well. Appreciate you watching, appreciate you enjoying the show here, and we'll see you again next time for another episode of Brewers Daily.